This is the Abbott Northwestern Hospital Campus Development Project Community Update. It is September 21st, 2020. This community update is being shared with the broader Phillips neighborhood community as we are updating folks on the project that we have coming up for the neighborhood. So Abbott Northwestern Hospital has been part of this community for more than 100 years. The hospital is now considered to be an aging campus. We have significant challenges for dealing with complex healthcare. As we look into the future, there are a number of improvements that we need to make to our facility to continue to provide the best patient care we can. Those include, we need to make a central utility plant is beyond its useful life, and we do need to improve it. We have daily parking shortages, which many of you who live in the community are well aware of and experience yourselves because our staff and visitors often end up parking on the streets in front of your houses. We also have a lack of modern private rooms. This is something that patients have been looking for many years, and we have been upgrading the hospital, but we still have a need for more. Our main operating rooms are struggling to accommodate the complex cases that we see at Abbott Northwestern. When the hospital was originally built, the robots and technical equipment that we use in the operating room on a regular basis did not exist, and so the room wasn't created for them. And we do need more space to create bigger operating rooms to deal with the complex cases that do come to Abbott Northwestern from across the 5-state area. We also have minimal space for outpatient services, which is something that patients and insurance companies have been asking for many years. And we just generally have a lack of space to accommodate any strategic initiatives that we would like to partake. So as Abbott Northwestern has been looking at how we are going to invest in our facilities, the organization Allina Health did decide that Abbott was going to be where the most investment was going to take place. And ensuring that our facilities can continue to support patient care both now and in the future requires that we add a new patient care building and upgrade of spaces. We also need a modernized heating, cooling, and energy facility. And we need multimodal transportation and parking hub. As we're talking to the community, we want to ensure that there are certain things that we are not going to do as part of our campus development project. We are not leaving this neighborhood. Allina came to this neighborhood in 2003 after Abbott Northwestern has been here for more than 100 years, and we are committed to staying in Minneapolis, and we are committed to staying in this neighborhood. We are not expanding beyond our current footprint. This is the commitment that Abbott Northwestern Hospital made to this community more than 25 years ago, was that we would not buy up any more properties and expand beyond our current footprint, and we intend to live by that covenant. And we will never change our commitment to be a responsible neighbor and a great partner. And as part of this progress, we have made sure that we want to be transparent, we want to be communicating with partners, community members, and neighbors to ensure that the information we have to convey, we are able to share freely. So this is a kind of a map of the current Abbott Northwestern campus. Just to give you some context, we have Chicago Avenue running here kind of along the bottom. We have the Greenway running over here on the right side, 26th Street kind of here on the top of the picture, and 28th Street running right here through the middle. This is our current footprint, and this is the footprint that we intend to stay within. As you can see, there is not a lot of space if we are looking to build a new patient care space, which is what we need. So as we started looking at the current footprint, we decided in order to make room for a future patient care space, we needed to remove this parking ramp that is currently situated right here on 10th Avenue. Oops, yikes. So this is what the future of the first step would look like. Over here, we have a central utility plant. This is our current central utility plant right here, and next to it is our central utility plant that we hope to build in the future. Down here is a transportation hub. We currently have a 6-story ramp right here and a surface lot right here. Our goal is to build a new parking structure on this surface lot so that we can take down ramp 1 over here and build a new patient care facility in the future. And now I'm going to turn it over to one of our facility directors, Steve Wadrick, to talk a little bit about the current energy facility and why we need to do some upgrades.
So why do we need to do upgrades? We've been talking about upgrades at our facility for almost 40 years. And so it's exciting to see it come to fruition at this point in time. But one of the top needs that we have is to minimize risk. So the risk of a mechanical failure that would threaten patient safety. Healthcare is very highly regulated, and a couple of the most common regulatory bodies is CMS and Joint Commission. And there's a number of requirements that they have that we need to follow related to our infrastructure, backup systems, and also some of the redundancies that we need to have in place to minimize risk and to maintain patient safety. Fortunately, we've been able to maintain compliance. We're very, very happy about that, but we know that we can expand with our existing systems. Another challenge that we do have is there's a shortage of specialist operating engineers that we need to maintain and to operate our old equipment. And that's been more and more difficult to find employees that would understand it and would know those systems. And again, that's another reason why we need to upgrade to newer and more efficient systems as well. Additionally, we spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to maintain and rebuild the old equipment, which is very difficult to find parts and support for that. So we must upgrade our systems and our plant before the new patient care tower or buildings can be brought on board. We're very excited that we're staying in our neighborhood. We are a hospital of excellence. And to do that, we need to upgrade our infrastructure and to support the systems that we'll be bringing on board in the future. And lastly, we want to be more environmental responsible. Our new central utility plant will be highly efficient and it will also be environmentally responsible and much more efficient than our old systems that we have today. And we know that as a need that we need to have just to maintain our systems and to maintain our competitive edge as well. So as we look at what our plans are right now, plans are still in development stages and moving along very, very quickly, but we plan to eliminate 9 old emergency generators to replace them with 3 energy efficient generators, including the distribution systems that those generators do support. And again, those systems will be much more efficient. We'll eliminate 8 older boilers. These are 1950s era, so they're more than 60 years old, and we'll replace those with 2 very energy efficient boilers and also a combined heat and power facility, which will capture some of the heat loss that would just be wasted into the atmosphere, would capture that and to turn it into electricity for our facility. The new buildings will consolidate all of these systems and the backup systems into one building, be under one roof, and the equipment will be much more energy efficient, and with that, it will be easier to maintain and to operate and to provide the care that we need for our hospital. And lastly, just to summarize this, our plan is again to have a new facility and new equipment, much needed for our facility. It'll provide increased capacity for future growth. So we'll have the capacity built within this new plant to support future vision and future needs of our facility. It'll be much more energy efficient, and we're very excited about that. The emissions will not go up. They'll remain the same, including with adding on some of the new buildings and facility components for our patient care areas. And with that, we'll be located on the corner of 26th Street and Chicago Avenue. And this is a look at what that building might look like. And we think it's very attractive and it'll fit very nicely into our neighborhood.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Now I'm going to turn it over to Adam Jewell, our Director of Facilities and Parking, to talk about Transportation Hub.
All right, hi, thank you. Adam Jewell here, Director of Facilities, as Allison mentioned, talking about our new Transportation Hub project. First, just a little bit of context and background regarding our current parking challenges. As Allison did mention, we have shortages. Our peak utilization exceeds 100%, and many of you in the community experience some of those overages as they spill out into the community streets. In addition to the parking shortages, we also have shortages for bike parking. We have a demand for cyclists in the community that are on our staff and are also patients and visitors for modern bike storage showers and lockers for all of our bike commuters. Similarly to the central utility plant, our current parking structures are very old and at end of life. Both of the structures on the main part of campus were built in the 1970s. And then lastly, just to reiterate one more time, we want to remain within our current geographic footprint as we contemplate tearing down one of our structures. We want to make sure that we hold true to that covenant. And yeah, okay, sorry, shifting into the next slide. We're trying to tackle our access challenges from both directions. We realize that we want to reduce the amount of single occupant vehicles while minimizing the amount of parking added. So we don't want to solve our problems by adding more supply or more parking stalls to the equation here. We want to reduce the single occupant vehicles. So we've invested heavily in that in terms of policy and software applications that can help us reduce the demand for parking. And namely that one of those investments was in an app called Loom, and we have a new branded Flex Commute program, which again, not to reiterate myself too many times here, but strongly tries to drive that single occupant vehicle rate down. We're advocating for the Greenway. We're supporting multimodal transportation, not just biking, but also in transit. And then also our employee policies to reduce employee use of single occupant vehicles goes across more than just those things that I've mentioned. But we do realize that we have to invest in building parking structures for our patients and their families, our 24-hour medical workforce, and the neighbors who are frustrated by the overflow of street parking. So we want to minimize the amount of parking that we're investing in while reducing the single occupant vehicle rate at our campus. And in order to accommodate the demolition of one of the parking ramps and the projected increase in demand for parking, our transportation hub, as we're calling it, which will be located on the south side of the existing parking structure, which we call Ramp 6. That Ramp 6 is scheduled to have additional levels added onto the top of it. And then what you're seeing here to the south of that structure is the corner of essentially the Greenway in Chicago, where you can see Ramp 7 or the transportation hub. We're adding a new bike center for employees with access off the Greenway. We're planning to greatly improve the landscaping along the Greenway and add a promenade that connects Chicago Avenue to the Midtown Exchange building in our 10th Avenue facility. And one of the elements that I'm probably the most excited about is a community solar garden on the roof of Ramp 7. We are partnering with a local firm to create that solar garden. And then lastly, on the street level, we have two firms or two entities that we're working to lease space with there in our streets and the Greenway Coalition. So we're excited about that as well.
Thank you. So one of the components we wanted to talk about tonight as part of this community meeting is the Minneapolis 2040 Comprehensive Plan and the amendment that we are asking for as part of this plan. So just for high level, what is the Minneapolis 2040 Plan? It's community generated ideas that are designed to guide the city's development and priorities for the next 20 years. For the last 3 or 4 years, the city has been working with communities to generate ideas for what they want how they want the city to be developed over the next 20 years. And out of that came the Minneapolis 2040 Comprehensive Plan. The comprehensive plan actually has 14 goals. They are eliminate disparities, more resident and living wage jobs, affordable and accessible housing, healthy, safe, and connected people, high quality physical environment, creative, cultural, and natural amenities, complete neighborhoods, climate change resilience, clean environment, healthy, diverse, and sustainable economy, proactive, accessible, and sustainable government, and equitable civic participation system. Of these topics, I highlighted in red the goals that I think Abbott Northwestern is meeting with both our patient care facilities and actually a significant part with this project. So any more details that anyone would like to find about the comprehensive plan, if you just go to Minneapolis2040.org, you should see all of the details about that plan. The reason we're talking about the plan with the transportation hub is because we are asking for an amendment to the plan. The Minneapolis 2040 plan zoning now designates a quarter-acre strip of land along the top of the Greenway slope as they now call it a park and open space. And if you look on the map, it is this little red strip right here. And if you were standing on Chicago Avenue, it would be this strip of grass and sidewalk that you're looking at right here with the power poles on it. Abbott Northwestern is requesting a comprehensive plan amendment to reclassify this piece of land as public, office, or institutional. By reclassifying that, this would allow us to purchase this parcel from the city for this project. It is something we were in discussion with the city about before the comprehensive plan was approved. And so as this has been rezoned, we are asking for an amendment so that we can acquire the land from them. When we look at the public community benefits to the projects that we're proposing, there are a significant number of them. We want to provide adequate off-street parking for Abbott Northwestern patients, visitors, and staff. We appreciate that we are one of a handful of organizations that bring a lot of people to this neighborhood every day. And our goal is to try to alleviate some of the congestion and parking challenges that the neighborhood feels by having the entities such as Abbott Northwestern in this neighborhood. As part of our project, we are also going to add 20 electric vehicle charging stations. We are trying to build a transportation hub that will meet the needs of the future. We are also offering office space to 2 local nonprofits, Our Streets Minneapolis and the Greenway Coalition, both of which work to meet Minneapolis 2040 goals, and also will probably help us reduce our SOV rate by working with us to try to encourage other forms of commuting for employees. We also intend to remove 12 overhead power lines that are currently in place along Chicago Avenue and along the Greenway at the top of the slope. By doing this, we are going to improve reliability for the neighborhood and also appearance. And we're also going to create a lighted promenade along the top of the Greenway slope, which connects Chicago Avenue and the Elliott Avenue Bridge. So this promenade will eventually be right here along the front of the transportation hub, with the Greenway being kind of down this hill. What the plans we have in place look very similar to what the Midtown Greenway Land Use Development Plan that was created in 2007 had in place for happening along this stretch of the Greenway. And I know that this has been, a number of community folks have brought up questions to me about the promenade, the Midtown Greenway promenade plans. And this essentially is very similar to what the 2007 plan had proposed. We are also going to be adding a community solar garden to the top of the new transportation hub at the top of the parking structure. And we're also looking at landscaping the Greenway slope with much more attractive pollinator-friendly plantings. This is a current picture of the slope, and this is a rendering or a landscaping proposal for the slope with a few pictures of what we are proposing is going in there. We are working with the watershed right now, working to make sure we have correct plants, but our goal is to have attractive pollinator-friendly plantings. And just kind of a high-level proposed timeline, and this is accurate as of today. Anyone who has done construction knows that timelines change frequently. But this is where we are today. Is in July of 2020, the Minneapolis approved the Central Utility Plant Land Use and Design. Late September of 2020, we are starting to relocate the oxygen tanks that currently sit where the future transportation hub is going to be located. This work actually started today. In early October, we are going to start the interior demolition of the Harriet Walker and Education buildings. These are located on the north end of Abbott Northwestern's campus near the intersection of 26th and Chicago. So if you see construction happening near those buildings, it's all interior work happening right now. But you will see, if you're close enough, you will possibly see some construction at that corner. From October through December of the rest of this year, we are going to be working through the Minneapolis approval processes for both the comp plan amendment and the transportation hub land use and design. These processes will move along at the speed that we can, as fast as we can get them, while still accommodating the city's requirements. And then in early 2021, our goal is that the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency public comment period for the central utility plant will begin, and construction will hopefully begin on the transportation hub. And then sometime late spring, hopefully 2021, construction will hopefully begin on the central utility plant. As I mentioned, these are all accurate as of today, but they may change, but this is what we would hope to see. And just to end the presentation, our promise that we've made since the beginning of this project, as we've started talking with community about this, is that we are going to have a number of opportunities to connect with us. We want to be transparent in this project. We want to answer questions. We want to provide as much information as we have. We want to provide two-way proactive communication. So if you are viewing this video at another time, feel free to call us on the phone number listed on this page. You are also welcome to email either me or Maria, whose emails are listed below, and we would be happy to answer questions or find the people who can answer them. Our goal is also to be responsible to the environment and community. And we will be setting up a project website specific to this project in the next few weeks. Right now, there is currently a page sitting on Abbott Northwestern's website for this project. And with that, we will end tonight's presentation. As I said, any questions can be directed to the phone number 612-262-1010 or emailed to allison.pence@allina.com or maria.null@allina.com. Thank you very much for your time and for watching this presentation, and we appreciate being a part of this neighborhood, and we hope to have another conversation with you soon. Thanks so much.